They'll be calling you a radical. What horrible news we woke up to this morning, huh? What incredible, horrible news. The death of David Bowie. Wow, I'm going to talk a lot about January 11th. I was right there in the village. You can't make this up. In Chelsea, 3 years ago today, in my fight with AML leukemia, my first trip out of the bone marrow transplant center, I wanted to go to my place, New York, the place that I love so much, because it's still a community. One of the few places in the world, yeah, that's right, New York City, because people aren't, the rest of the country's in their car, they come home and sleep in their FEMA camp, they're paying a mortgage, their own personal Ponzi scheme. I was there, that's the only time I broke down. I broke down crying dramatically when I didn't even know that Aaron had died, Swartz. The same day my father was murdered, January 11th, the same day he was murdered, Aaron Swartz was murdered, by the exact same people. You know, different years, but the same day, January 11th. I want to talk about January 11th, I want to talk about Bowie. Tied into the shirtwaist fire, tied it into my activism in New York City, as I was leading up my movement for the 100th anniversary of the shirtwaist fire. I believe it was at the shirtwaist fire event, and I believe that Tom Blewett, I think New York Taxi might have been with me, and Dennis Oppenheimer's son, the artist Eric. We're walking along, and then all of a sudden, you know, I'm over there talking to this guy. And I'm just having a long conversation, me and him just talking, you know, and they're like, well, who's that guy you're over there talking to? Is he here for the event? And I says, that's David Bowie. What? What? And I said, yeah, that was him. You know, I saw him, and I just, you know, that's New York, isn't it, for you? You know, it's not like LA, the rest, well, ooh, gaga. No, these people are very friendly, very friendly. Giant fan of his. I'm sure it was AML leukemia that killed him. I'm sure it was. It just shows you how aggressive, and I want to talk about this as far as, you know, his cancer, my cancer. Thank you to Channel 11 up in Alaska for showing us the footage of the dead diving ducks. I mean, the little murres look like penguins. They're the cutest little beautifulest bird, but they really are the canary in the coal mine. I'm telling you, the grebes and the murres. Hundreds of thousands. 5 dead per meter. Thank you. We'd never know. You know, the major media won't touch it. I had a long conversation with David Bowie that day, right there. That wasn't that long ago, a few years ago. You know, my daughter and her friend had says they had run into him where my daughter lived right there. You know, he lived right there. You know, it's a community. You run into people all the time in that city because, you know me, I walk. I'm community with everybody. You know, it's just like we're at the, you know, in Upper New York, walk around. You know, you can ask Patrick, you can ask Ackerman, you can ask all these people. I'm walk right up and hug this guy, give him a kiss on the cheek, and they're like, who's that? And I said, that's Noam Chomsky. What? You know, because they live in that city. MIT Media Lab, it's now the New York Times, says we want their emails. Murdered Aaron Swartz. Make no mistake, that's a fucking murder. Whether he fucking put it around his neck or not doesn't matter. 35 years for what? He was all about transparent. He knew what I knew. The murder of my father. Nuking him, the giving me cancer, the murder of David Bowie. These are murders. We know there's only one no cause. And I'm sure because AML goes into the eyes. Now I've been sick again, you know. But I want to, you know, I feel better today and I'm doing better. And people say you need rest. One thing with this fight you got to understand. The last thing you want, and my doctor's pounded in me, is stop living. Do not stop living. And you baby boomers and you arrogant fuckers, you think David Bowie did everything right? Oh yeah, I can guarantee it. He was creative, he was dynamic, he did everything. I mean, I'm not treated by American medicine. I mean, it's in America, but my doctor's from Copenhagen, Denmark. I'm a Danish philosophy medicine. I'm in a Danish philosophy bone marrow transplant unit. We've done it that way. In Denmark, which I was there too, I met with the nurses there. Nurses do residency. It's a team effort. I did it without a bone marrow transplant. That's because I was 51, 52. At 69 is the cutoff. They won't even usually give you a bone marrow transplant because they know they don't work. I mean, once in a while they'll work, but there's only so much money. These resources, you know, I got kicked off Medicaid. I'm in a very vulnerable position right now, but, you know, I'm doing what I got to do. Don't quit living. So many people are going to be mowed down. As I said, this was going to be the year of reckoning. I want to talk about deeds, not words. Alice Paul was, again, leading up to the shirtwaist fire. That was the event that changed the world. We all forgot. I tried to lead up Occupy. Like I said, you occupy Wall Street, they'll beat the fuck out of you. You occupy Ferguson, they'll beat the fuck out of you. You occupy anything we do, but you occupy a bird refuge in fucking Oregon, they'll fucking hug you and kiss you as long as you're mooching off the fucking government. I hate the feds, I hate the feds, give me 500,000. I hate the feds, you know. Somebody says you can bait them out with green jello, and I says, oh no, I'm a Mormon from here. These are FLDS fucking guys. They're Warren Jeff's clan. You can only bait them out with 14-year-old girls. Or fucking a government fucking free mooching fucking, make no mistake, those people owe the federal government millions and millions. I grew up on a BLM ranch. We paid our lease. They're welfare mooches. You know, it's outrageous what goes on, the dogma, the ignorance. You're gonna shoot out, you're gonna cure cancer with a fucking gun. Yeah, maybe you could take your AK-47 and shoot the radioisotopes out of the air. Changes, turn and face the strain. He was one of my favorite people in, you know, in the world. In a lot of ways. Not just his art, his music. He was friendly. You know, I've talked to other people before that have run into him. Sarah, my friend, says she run into him in Amy's Red one day. Just turned around, he's right there. Very friendly. It just shows you. You don't think he had the best car in the world. You don't think he had the best fight. You don't think he had everything going for him. This 18 months, it's so aggressive and it's so brutal. Look, those fucking, this leads me into something else too. Unnecessary surgery. Let's have our hip replaced. Let's have our knee replaced. Let's quit living fucking whatever. We know those people. This is my work. We know those people are dying of cancer, unnecessary surgeries. Me and Paul, my friend, talked about it. He had had a back surgery before because what happens? We all have it laying in us. And it sets cell. You know, I come from a family of incredible doctors. And, you know, Thomas, one of the men who invented bypass surgery is my uncle. He didn't like me, by the way. Me and him went at it in a lot of ways, but I sure respected him. He's the one that pounded in my brain, don't let them open you up. Do not let them open you, which his advice from the grave, he's been dead for years, saved my life. I refused them to let them open me up. Yeah, I had tumors wrapped around my lower bowel. I was going to die. You get fucking AML, aggressive tumors wrapped around, you're going to die, I'm here to tell you. And I almost did die, malpractice. You know, so I had to chemo, but I did it without a bone marrow transplant. I never quit living. I fought on back to January 11th. She was born that day, January 11th. Alice Paul. Now, you know they want to take Hamilton off the 10. What day was he born? Oh yeah, January 11th. You know the reason they want to put Margaret Thatcher on? A globalist royalist fucking agenda? Oh yeah, and they feed you with the gun gold, shiny ball shit. You're going to get all amped up about gay marriage, about guns. They're going to take our guns, shiny ball shit, while they took your fucking job. As I said in front of the Million Mask March, gave the inaugural speech, and the mask was on the back of my head, remember? I don't wear a mask. They take the very essence of life now. They took the very air that we breathe. Fukushima is the greatest ecological catastrophe. 3/11s. I went in the bone marrow transplant on 11/11/11. A very sad day today. You know, I broke down. The only time I ever completely lost it, my daughter's like, oh my God. I think I sensed Aaron Swartz's death is what I think I sensed. You know, he died the same day as my father was murdered by the same people, the MIT. And I will say this. We know who you are and we know what you did. I will never forgive and I will never forget. I'll be in New York City the 22nd. I love that place. And I hope this is a wake up to that fucking Bruce Springsteen. And the reason I'm going to do this at Madison Square for Bruce, because Bruce has a huge local following. He's the icon of Jersey. He's the icon of New York, the whole area. So it won't be all tourism in fucking Midtown. So I'm going to protest at Madison Square and I'm going to hand out information about the closure of Indian Point. That mass murder. We know what killed Bowie. We know the only fucking known cause is ML. We know the only cause. Exposure to nuclear fallout and or benzene. What's Fukushima? Fuck Fukushima, the greatest ecological catastrophe is ravishing. And as I said on 2016, you know my predictions. This was going to be the year of reckoning. And it was going to mow down and fucking murder so many people this year. Who knew that it was going to be one of the good ones? What a friendly, fucking amazing, beautiful person. What an amazing fucking man. What an amazing artist. You know, wow. Wow, his piece with Freddie Mercury, Pressure, I still think, I mean, I can listen to it today and time, it just still turns me on. And that's another big piece of I want people to know, I'm the first guy they know of in the United States to have AML de Nouveau and this aggressive that willingly did it without a bone marrow transplant. Now, there's been others they sent home, died, didn't die. I've done this through incredible alternative medicines. If you only knew, you know, one day I could write a whole book just about my path, because I never quit living. I never stopped my activism. I never fucking stopped fighting. So I'll be protesting the 24th and the 27th. Springsteen's got 2 shows there. Of course I can't go to his fucking shows. Who can afford his fucking tickets to that? I mean, it's ridiculous. But I can call a lot of attention to India Point. Now, I want you activists that are out in the street passing out pamphlets and doing fucking things, because the nuclear shills and the ignorance are going to come out to you, and they're going to say this. They're going to say nuclear's clean. Number one, it's the dirtiest filth. It's uranium mines, uranium fucking tailings. No answer for the waste. It's stored all fucking over. It's the dirtiest filth. Boiling the Earth's water is climate change over and over. It's the dirtiest filth. Economically, Price Anderson. You fund it by the fucking government taxpayer. It's the most filthy, dirty, expensive energy in the fucking history of mankind. Then they're going to say, oh, they have the solar farms. They can't store it. Oh, yes, they can. I was at Diablo Canyon, which I'm thinking that's maybe where I'll go for the 5th anniversary of Fukushima. I haven't decided yet. I did that last year and walked with the monk. I've done that. When they say that, we love natural gas. Natural gas is clean. We don't like frackers. We don't need the Tona field, which is right here. The Tona field is the biggest natural gas find in the history of humanity. It's already been tapped. It's already pipelined. The grid already exists. There's enough natural gas there to heat and light the fucking United States for 2,000 years. It's that big. The solar farms that went on in the Mojave on Blue Hearts on Valentine's Day, on Valentine's Diablo Canyon, that's the day that went on. You know, June down there at Mothers for Peace, she knows. Me and her were the only ones at that hearing that day in Diablo Canyon. The PG&E rats. So, a guy told me the other day, well, God, you got to use gas to freaking keep the solar panels warm so that it fucking ice oven. I said, are you fucking nuts? Yeah, it freezes all the time in the Mojave, don't it? 40 different states have already made statements. There's statements all over. California and the Mojave and Nevada is producing so much fucking solar energy they have nowhere to put it. Here in the state of Utah, it sunshines all day. They block it from coming into the grid. This is nothing but a cash cow. Nuclear's a fucking gigantic failure, mass murder and evil. And if Fukushima was the capitulation to fucking all ignorance in this fucking world, and nobody's woke up, the greatest catastrophe in human history. January 11th, you know, you want to take fucking Hamilton off the 10, then put the girl that was burning, put her on there. Ha! Margaret Thatcher, the fucking globalist elitist rats, which it's all nuclear energy and nuclear bombs are the same thing. It's not clean. It doesn't create jobs, it kills people. There's a uranium mine in Utah right here in Moab, on fire for 70 years. One of my beautiful friends, Nancy, who just passed, world-class triathlete, the greatest female triathlete in the world, just a few years ago. 4-year battle, she just died. In there with us. She says, I moved to Moab to train. She had no idea. We call it the red dust, the cancer capital maybe of the world. As they're putting a sarcophagus over Chernobyl now, what, 30 years later? It's a fucking lie. The killing fields and the calling is on. This is the greatest catastrophe. Changes, turn and face the strain. Wow. How fucking heartbreaking news. The death of Aaron Swartz, the death of my father, I will say this in conclusion. I will never forgive and I will never fucking forget. Stay tuned. Wow. One more, as you know, the angels watch out over me. I fight for the people this mass murdered, so there's another one who's going to watch over me and fight for me. David Bowie. Wow, so sad. Stay tuned.